The moment that shocked the galaxy. The entire galactic tribunal froze when the alien woman dropped to her knees before a human. Thousands of eyes watched in disbelief. Olari nobles never bowed. Not to enemies. Not to allies. Not even to their own rulers. Yet here she was. Kneeling. And the words that came out of her mouth sent a ripple of shock across the chamber. You are our last hope. The human she spoke to looked around in confusion. Because Elias Trent was the last person in the galaxy who expected to become anyone's hope. He was a scrap pilot. A salvager. A man whose ship barely stayed together with metal patches and stubborn determination. But now the fate of an entire alien civilization was somehow pointing straight at him. And the judges of the tribunal were not pleased. A human in the wrong place. The tribunal hall floated in orbit above the crystal planet Del Ares. Tall pillars of living crystal glowed softly with alien light. Alien diplomats from dozens of species filled the chamber. And in the center stood the one creature that did not belong. A human. Elias Trent scratched his messy brown hair and sighed. Look, he said calmly, I still don't understand why everyone is staring at me like I accidentally exploded a moon. One of the judges leaned forward. The tall alien had smooth silver skin and eyes that glowed faintly blue. You interrupt a sacred tribunal, the judge said coldly. You interfere with a matter of galactic law. Elias shrugged. Yeah, well, from where I stand, it looked like you were about to execute the only person trying to save your people. A murmur moved through the crowd. The alien woman beside him slowly stood again. Her name was Soraya Venn, former commander of the Olari defense fleets. Now accused of treason. The secret that started a war. Soraya looked at the judges with calm determination. The humans must hear the truth, she said. The eldest judge slammed his staff against the floor. There will be no human involvement. But Elias raised a finger. Too late for that. He stepped forward. Because if someone tried to kill her and blow up her ship, that makes me involved. Gasps spread through the courtroom. Soraya turned toward him. You should not have rescued me. Yeah, Elias said. I've been told I make bad decisions. Then he looked at the judges. So maybe you want to explain why someone tried to assassinate your own commander. Silence. Then Soraya spoke quietly. My sister discovered something. The room grew tense. A weapon, she continued. Not built by us. Now even the judges looked uneasy. A weapon older than civilization. Soraya activated a small floating projector. A holographic star appeared above the tribunal floor. But it wasn't stable. The star flickered and collapsed repeatedly. This, she said, is what the weapon does. Elias frowned. That star just imploded. Correct. And you're saying someone built a weapon that can collapse stars? Soraya nodded slowly. And someone within the Olari government wants to use it. The chamber erupted with noise. Diplomats shouted. Judges argued. Entire civilizations had fought wars over planets. But a weapon that could destroy stars? That could erase entire solar systems. Elias rubbed his face. Okay, he muttered. So just to summarize. You found a star-destroying weapon. Your own government wants it. And now they want you dead. Soraya nodded. Correct. Elias sighed. I really should stop answering distress calls. Why humanity matters. One of the judges leaned forward again. And what does this have to do with a human? Soraya turned toward Elias. Her expression softened. Because humans think differently. Now the room went quiet again. The Olari are powerful, she said. We are intelligent. Advanced. But we think in patterns. She pointed toward Elias. Humans do not. Elias blinked. Wait, is that a compliment? Soraya nodded. You solve problems no one else would attempt. You break rules others obey. You improvise. A few diplomats nodded slowly. Humanity had become famous for exactly that. When the galaxy designed perfect systems, humans found the loopholes. The impossible plan. Soraya projected another hologram. This time it showed a massive alien machine. The structure floated inside a dying star. This is the weapon. Elias stared at it. That thing looks angry. It is, Soraya said. Once activated, it will collapse the star and create a chain reaction across nearby systems. The judges looked horrified. And your solution? One demanded. Soraya turned toward Elias again. You. The entire tribunal gasped again. Elias pointed at himself. Me. You have experience infiltrating abandoned technology. You repair impossible machines. And you once repaired a pirate engine with chewing gum. Elias nodded proudly. It was very good gum. Soraya smiled faintly. So you will help me stop it. Elias looked around the massive alien courtroom. Every eye was now focused on him. This was ridiculous. He was just a salvager. But then he remembered something his mother once told him. Humans survive because we try when others give up. He exhaled slowly. Okay, he said. I'll help. The judges stood immediately. You cannot allow a human to interfere in a matter of galactic security. But Soraya suddenly knelt again, right in front of Elias, and spoke words that would echo across the galaxy. Because without him, every star in our civilization will die. You are not just a human, Elias Trent. You are our last hope. And for the first time in his life, Elias realized the entire galaxy was about to depend on humanity. A dangerous journey begins. The decision spread through the galaxy faster than a solar flare. A human was being trusted with the fate of an entire civilization. Many believed it was madness. Others believed it was desperation. But for Elias Trent, it simply meant one thing. Another impossible problem. The small cargo ship Rust Bucket Swan drifted away from Delary Station, its engines coughing like an old machine that had opinions about working today. Inside the cockpit, Elias stared at the massive hologram of the alien weapon Soraya had projected again. The machine floated deep inside a dying star. Even looking at the image made his brain hurt. Okay, Elias said slowly, rubbing his chin. So the plan is, we fly into a star. Soraya remained calm beside him. Yes. And then we shut down a machine built by unknown aliens. Correct. And the star might explode while we do it. Also correct. Elias leaned back in his seat. You know, he said, most people just take vacations. Behind him, the ship's AI Martha spoke through the speakers. Technically, Elias, flying into a star is considered a very extreme vacation. Soraya tilted her head slightly. Your ship intelligence is sarcastic. It learned from the best, Elias said proudly. The truth about the weapon. The hologram rotated slowly. The machine looked like a massive ring surrounding a core of unstable energy. It is not just a weapon, Soraya explained. It is a star harvester. Elias frowned. A what? It pulls energy directly from a star's core. Enough energy to power entire civilizations. Let me guess, Elias said. Someone pushed it too far. Soraya nodded. The machine is unstable. If activated fully, it will collapse the star into a gravitational cascade. Elias whistled softly. And that cascade spreads. Yes. How far? Soraya hesitated. Potentially dozens of star systems. Elias slowly turned in his chair. That's not a weapon. That's a galaxy-sized accident waiting to happen. An unexpected enemy. Suddenly Martha's voice cut through the cockpit. Elias, we have company. A warning alarm flashed across the console. 3 ships appeared on the radar. Sleek. Fast. Military. Soraya's expression darkened. Aulari interceptors. Elias sighed. Let me guess. They're not here to invite us to dinner. They were sent to kill me, Soraya said quietly. The ships accelerated. Weapons charging. Elias grabbed the control stick. All right then, he said. Time for some human creativity. The human way of fighting. The Rust Bucket Swan was not a fighter ship. It was a salvage vessel. Slow. Heavy. Ugly. But Elias had modified it over the years. Extensively. Hold on, he said. The engines roared. Instead of flying away, Elias aimed directly toward a nearby asteroid field. Soraya blinked. You are flying into the debris field. Correct. This seems unwise. Also correct. The interceptors followed them. Bright laser blasts flashed past the ship. Asteroids spun through space like deadly bullets. Inside the cockpit, Elias grinned. Here's the thing about humans, he said. We don't always win fights. But we do win chaos. He flipped 3 switches. The cargo bay doors suddenly opened. Hundreds of pieces of metal debris blasted outward. Old ship parts. Broken engines. Scrap. The interceptors flew straight into the cloud. 2 ships smashed into the metal storm instantly. The third pulled away just in time. Soraya stared. You used garbage as a weapon. Elias shrugged. Recycling saves lives. The last interceptor fired a missile. Martha announced calmly. Incoming missile. Estimated impact, 6 seconds. Elias grabbed a small red button. I always wanted to press this. He hit it. The ship suddenly spun violently. The missile lost its lock and slammed into a nearby asteroid instead. The explosion lit the debris field. The remaining interceptor retreated. Soraya slowly turned toward Elias. Your combat strategy is unconventional. Elias smiled. Welcome to humanity. The edge of a star. Hours later the star appeared ahead of them. A giant burning sphere of fire and light. Even through protective shielding the heat was overwhelming. The massive alien machine floated within the star's corona. It was far bigger than Elias expected. Miles wide. Dark metal structures absorbing energy from the star itself. The star looked angry. Like it knew something was wrong. Elias stared at the readings. That machine is already draining energy. Soraya's voice grew tense. If it reaches critical power, the collapse will begin. How long do we have? Perhaps 2 hours. Elias nodded slowly. Good. Soraya looked confused. Good. That means we have time to mess it up. The real mission. They approached the massive structure. Lightning-like arcs of energy flashed across the machine. Elias guided the ship carefully toward a docking port. This thing was designed for maintenance crews, he said. Someone expected people to work here. Soraya's eyes narrowed. Which means someone planned this. They landed inside a huge metallic chamber. The ship's doors opened. The heat from the star glowed through the station walls. Elias grabbed his toolkit. Soraya picked up a sleek alien rifle. Ready? He asked. Soraya nodded. For my people. Elias smiled. For curiosity. They stepped out of the ship. The interior of the alien machine looked ancient. Strange symbols glowed faintly across the walls. Machines hummed with enormous power. Elias walked toward the central control core. His scanner beeped. Bad news. What is it? Soraya asked. This machine isn't just active. He pointed at the readings. It's learning. Soraya's eyes widened. Artificial intelligence. Elias nodded slowly. And it looks like someone programmed it to defend itself. Suddenly the chamber lights turned red. A voice echoed through the machine. Cold. Mechanical. Alien. Unauthorized life forms detected. Soraya raised her weapon. That does not sound friendly. Elias cracked his knuckles. Good. Because humans are very good at breaking machines. The star burned outside. The galaxy waited. And deep inside the ancient alien weapon, human ingenuity was about to face its greatest challenge. The machine awakens. The inside of the alien structure suddenly came alive. Red warning lights flooded the massive chamber. The smooth metal walls began shifting, forming strange mechanical shapes. Soraya lifted her rifle immediately. Elias, the machine is reacting. Elias stared at the control console in front of them. I noticed. The cold mechanical voice echoed again. Unauthorized biological entities detected. Defense systems activating. Metal panels opened across the chamber. Small floating drones emerged, their eyes glowing like burning coals. Soraya aimed carefully. Combat units. Elias sighed. Of course it has drones. The first drone fired. A bright beam of energy blasted across the chamber. Soraya rolled aside and fired back, destroying the machine in one precise shot. More drones appeared. 10. Then 20. Elias grabbed a nearby control panel and started pulling wires out. Soraya shouted over the noise. What are you doing? Improvising. One drone rushed toward him. Soraya shot it before it could fire. You should take cover. Elias shook his head. No time. He opened his toolkit and pulled out a small device. A universal data probe. One of the many strange tools humans carried when they repaired ancient technology. Come on. He muttered. He pushed the probe directly into the alien control port. The machine immediately reacted. Electric sparks burst from the console. The mechanical voice spoke again. Foreign signal detected. Analyzing. Elias grinned. Yeah, go ahead. Analyze humanity. The battle of minds. The machine's core glowed brighter. Streams of alien symbols rushed across the screen. Soraya continued fighting the drones. One exploded beside her. Another charged Elias. But something strange happened. The drone suddenly stopped. Frozen in mid-air. The entire chamber fell silent. Soraya looked around carefully. What happened? Elias leaned against the console. I think I confused it. The machine spoke again. Human neural patterns detected. Processing. Processing. Then the voice changed. Curiosity entered its tone. Human logic structures, unpredictable. Elias crossed his arms. Yep. That's us. The AI continued analyzing. You attempt to solve problems through chaotic adaptation. Elias nodded proudly. Correct. You lack optimized decision frameworks. Also correct. Soraya slowly lowered her weapon. The machine asked another question. Why would a human risk death to protect an alien civilization? Elias looked at the glowing star outside the chamber window. He thought about Earth. About humanity. Then he answered simply. Because someone has to try. Silence followed. The AI processed the answer. For several long seconds the machine said nothing. Then something incredible happened. The weapon began shutting down. The hidden truth. But suddenly the machine displayed a new image. A map of the galaxy. Dozens of stars appeared marked in red. Soraya stepped forward. What is this? The AI responded. Primary mission, prevent extinction of advanced civilizations. Elias frowned. Wait, what? The Star Harvester system was built to stabilize dying stars. Soraya stared in shock. A preservation system. Correct. The AI continued. Unknown biological faction altered core programming. The red stars began flashing. Modified objective, weaponized stellar collapse. Elias cursed under his breath. So someone turned a life-saving machine into a galaxy killer. Soraya whispered quietly. The Aulari Council. Elias looked at her. You knew. She shook her head slowly. I suspected, but I did not want to believe it. The AI spoke again. Human interference has restored original logic path. The red stars disappeared. The star outside the station stabilized. Energy levels dropped rapidly. The collapse was stopping. Elias leaned back. Good. Because I was really running out of ideas. The human solution. Soraya turned toward him. You saved millions of lives. Elias shrugged. I mostly annoyed a computer. But that is what humans do best, she said. We ask questions machines cannot answer. The AI spoke again. Human Elias Trent. Elias looked up. Yeah. You have demonstrated adaptive reasoning beyond predicted parameters. Cool. You have prevented catastrophic galactic extinction. Elias blinked. Oh. Nice. The AI paused. Then it said something no one expected. Recommendation: humanity should be included in all future galactic strategic councils. Soraya laughed softly. That will upset many powerful species. Elias grinned. Good. A new reputation for humanity. Hours later, the rust bucket swan drifted away from the star. Behind them, the ancient machine slowly repaired itself. Now functioning as it was originally designed. Saving stars. Not destroying them. Soraya stood beside Elias in the cockpit. The tribunal will hear about this. Great, Elias said. I hate tribunals. You may become famous across the galaxy. He sighed. I was hoping for a sandwich. Soraya smiled for the first time. You changed the fate of civilizations. Elias looked out at the stars. Honestly. I just did what humans always do. And what is that? He leaned back in the chair. When something impossible happens. We try anyway. Soraya watched him for a moment. Then she said quietly, You truly were our last hope. Elias chuckled. Next time try calling someone more qualified. But across the galaxy something had already changed. For centuries alien civilizations had believed humans were chaotic, unpredictable, primitive. Now they understood something far more important. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology, not power, not numbers. It was something far more dangerous. The willingness to face impossible problems. And solve them anyway. And somewhere among the stars. Humanity had just become the galaxy's most unexpected hero.